All right, what's up, guys? Gonna do a quick update. I know I've been away from the charts for a while for obvious reasons. We're gonna get right into it, what I think's going on from here and what I need to see to get interested in the market again. Um, Ever since we've had this breakdown from 48K back in the end of March, quarter one, just been down only, as you can see, all the way down to 17K. That's where we gig alonged back in June. Congrats to those who held on to that. I closed most of it around 22K, right above 20. So it was good odds. It was about 30-40% pump in Bitcoin from that low. Ended up coming into our old resistance area here. We have this zone from 22.4, about 24.8, and we just wicked into 25K a little bit and failed. And it's been down only ever since then. That was mid-August, so about 2-3 weeks ago. So now we're coming back into this zone, which is my original plan, which worked out well. Original plan was we were going to wick into this, 19.5 to 17.4 area, spend a little bit of time below it, come back above, retest it, and then take off. And that's pretty much what the same pattern you saw here. It's kind of bouncing up and down off of it and eventually came into this zone. One rejection here. But even so, if you were to long from 19.4 and close at 22.6, that's still a solid, 15% pump that you can catch on a long. So there are plenty of opportunities if you are patient enough. Most people are not. They try to make a trade out of something that just isn't there. Do not try to force the market because it will take everything you have. That's for sure. So anyway, looking at now, today it was our first break back below this 19.4K level, back into this zone. So you don't want to. This is a 12-hour chart. We still have about 6.5 hours until this closes. So there's still hope that it pumps all the way back up and bulls defend it. We closed around 19.4. It's only 1.5% away. It's not a big, nothing set in stone yet. The candle's still young. However, I do not want to see it close. Your worst nightmare in this situation that would look really bearish to me would be if we close right around here, tomorrow or the next day, we kind of wick back up to 19.4, start treating as resistance, and then just one wick into it, which ends up being a fake out, and boom, if that makes sense. So I'm thinking like the next candle, we want to get above this 19.4K and start making some moves, something like this. So hold on one second. So we go up like that, start making some new highs and close above this 20.5, which has been our resistance over the past week or so. So you want to get back into that 21K level and eventually, obviously, get back into this 22.5K zone. I still think, if I'm being honest, we are a long way away from that. I know I tweeted not too long ago that I'm expecting 14K, 12K. I mean, there's no specific time horizon on that, but to me, at this point, the fact that we're, still treating $20,000 as resistance when we spent most of the past year or two above 30, holding 30 as support, is bearish scenario. So we will see. There's a couple things going on. The ETH merge is coming up soon. Whether that's priced in or not is up to the individual to decide. No one really knows just yet. ETH has had a much better recovery than Bitcoin has. I mean, we're still at 1,600. The low was like slightly below 900, so it's still up almost 2x from where it was. Where Bitcoin's only currently up 10% from the bottom. Well, let's hope it was the bottom of June, mid-June, if that makes sense. We'll have a look at ETH here just so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so The bottom was like 880 bucks, and it went all the way to 2 grand. So I had a much better, relief than Bitcoin did. These are just old charts. Just watching these levels play out. Kind of funny because I haven't looked at this chart in forever. But just to see, we had this breakdown from we were holding 1700. That was the previous bottom in what was it? July 2021. So we took it out back down here. Where do I even have this trend from? I'm gonna go to let's see, 1 week. Okay, that's interesting. So I don't know why my screen keeps doing that, but for ETH, I have that trend pretty much going off of the low in March 2020, which was the beginning of the bull run. Tapped it here at $230 in July 2020. Kept tapping it here in September around 350 until we eventually had that takeoff. So that's interesting to see that's held as support. Um, if you're looking at this on a weekly time frame, it still doesn't look great, mainly because of here. August 8th and August 15th kind of wicked up, tapped that 2K resistance, instant rejection with a close right around 1600, which is approximately where we are now. So to me, we're at least going to get another tap of this, this trend right around 1200, or eventually take it out and tap as a rejection. This will be your short signal. If we were to close below a trend like this, it's pretty easy to make one for yourself. Just go on a 3-day or a weekly and go off of March 2020. You can see how the trend kind of built up before it took off. Just pay attention to that. If we were to hold it as support, maybe I'd go long. If we were to close below it, I would wait for a retest of the trend, even if it takes another week or two for me to actually go short. And then, look at our next levels. Where would your target be for something like that? Probably right around these highs. As you can see, it was also the bottom here and the high. So it was the bottom in March 2018 and the top here. So nice level at 350. I know that sounds absolutely insane, but that is possible. You could be more conservative. We go here, you can see how it was the top here, and that April pump, right around $870 and was the bottom here. So I'm expecting at least another tap of the $880 range if a scenario like this was to happen. So we'd short from 1300 to 800. Invalidation could be, right above this 1700 wick if something was like this to play out, because you wouldn't want it to come all the way back up here. That would pretty much invalidate the whole thesis. So let me just draw it out so that makes sense. Try and get an average entry around 1400. Stop maybe about 1650. Targeting, take profit $1,000. Yeah, I like that. Maybe even bring it up to 1500. You can go short now if you really think it's going to play out like that. Just get your entry in at around 1600. I mean, even over the past week, we were at 1700, I think earlier today, and it's already back below 16. So, bears are pushing, and that's for sure. So that's just an example scenario. That's not as clean as I'd like it to be, but you guys kind of get the picture. Close below the trend, retest it, signal to short, start getting into a short position, validation above these wick highs right around 1700. All right, so that's that. I haven't really looked at any altcoins at all in a while, to be honest. In times like these, it's not, unless there's some really good news coming out for, it just, everything's going down. There's really no clear sign that everything's going to recover from here. So I don't really want to trade alts because it's just way more volatile. And when you're using leverage, volatility is not your friend if it's going against you. So I will look at Solana because we all know that's my favorite. Yeah, so that's like all our old levels from the good old days. Here we are now. Now this $23 area was, right where we had like the triple bottom. For those who don't know what a triple bottom is, pretty much exactly what it sounds like. One, two, three, well, that one went higher. So yeah, one, two, three, kind of around like the same zone where it just hit this one exact price and then just kind of bounced back. Never closed below that $23 on a weekly. Just kept wicking into it. This one was incredibly pretty bullish. We ended up closing at $31 in that 1 week. That was June 2021. And then after the third time of wicking into it and closing above, that one actually closed green in July. That was, oh yeah, July 20th was the beginning of the second bull run, if you will. Let's see. Yeah, it went from $23 to $260, approximately 11x in the matter of 3 months. So, you know, it sucks, of course, and but in times like these, it's important to pay attention to other stuff. Like, you can't be trying to trade crypto full time. That just doesn't make sense. Anyone who's ever done that, you know, they either cashed out big during the bull market, um, or they have some sort of side income referrals or something like that where they can afford to continue to trade and possibly lose money during these difficult trading conditions. So you're better off waiting. It clearly looks like to me at the moment, even just looking at this weekly chart for Solana, that another tap of $23 is needed. We didn't even make it back in June 2022. That wick hit around $25, $26. But this doesn't look like a bottom. Anyone who, stares at charts and is trying to learn this craft properly, unless we have some incredibly bullish green candle that closes above like $40 on a weekly, which is, more unlikely than it is likely, then I have really no interest in accumulating or buying currently until we at least have a double tap of this $24. And you definitely do not want to see a weekly close below this level, because then I wouldn't even know where to look. So I hate being a bear. I hate spreading bad news, but I just want everyone to be, paying attention, not wasting their money trying to long the bottom when it clearly looks like on high time frames that it's not going that way. Everyone who's been following me for the past year or two knows that my trading style is completely based off of long-term trades. I look at high time frame for the most part. I don't really like to scalp unless we're having a really good volatile day and I'm in the zone and I can, I'm in tune with the market. But most people just don't have time for that. It's very stressful to try and trade on 5 minute, even 15-minute time frames. Better off to have a plan that you may wait days, maybe even weeks for an exact level. You have a trading plan. Make sure you journal your ideas. The worst thing you possibly do is have this specific idea like, oh, it goes down to $23, but when it actually gets down to that level, you're too scared, or it's pretty much exactly what happened with Bitcoin a couple months ago in June. Everyone was so fucking scared at 17 grand, 17.6. You can go back. I mean, in the group and everything, I told everyone to go long. I even announced it publicly on Twitter, but everyone was a bear, expecting for just pure destruction, I guess. And that ended up being the exact bottom, around 17.6. So I had went long around 18.5, I think it was somewhere like that. Maybe even a little less. It was right around 18K. I just kept dumping and I was like, holy shit. 17.6 was the bottom of my zone here of this weekly candle, December 2020, which is right before like the expansion. And yeah, I had added on while in the red at 17.6, ended up being a great trade. Um, and I haven't really traded much since then. So, better off to make plans and make a lot of money in one trade as opposed to trading all the time and just giving up all your, your winnings to the market, because it's pure science. The more you trade, the more likely you are going to lose money. The market is designed to help the whales, Sam, the project founders, not you. You're just a little mackerel swimming around with these whales. Hopefully, you catch some food off of them. It's pretty much. But you guys, once you realize that, don't get too cocky, don't get too greedy. You will be successful. So, hopefully, this video was helpful. Went a little longer than I intended it to be, but um, hopefully, give someone some insight and make somebody make a better choice in their trading style, and hopefully make someone more money. So, all right. Have a great week, guys. Be patient. Don't be greedy. Have a good one.